Alrighty, I am with my client John today from Fame Marketing, and I'm Luke, the founder over here at Avantis. So, John, if you could quickly describe your business and maybe provide a little more info in terms of what you guys actually do at Fame Marketing.
Sure. We started off kind of as a web design firm and began doing search engine optimization and kind of morphed into a full service digital agency. We've been fine tuning our offerings quite a bit and found that we have a real niche for service providers, plumbers, electricians, people like that. A lot of the trades that we've done really well with. So we just engaged with Luke to broaden that base a little bit instead of just hitting up every generic local business and reach out to the specific industries that we know we have some products that just really crush it for their local SEO. Especially for people that are in like a large metro area that need coverage with 20 or 30 cities within a 20 or 30 mile radius maybe of their home. We've got some tools that work really well with that. And so Luke's been connecting us with people. We jump on and sell. I was a little bit trepidatious at first selling online or over the phone because I've always been a face-to-face, shake your hand, look you in the eye kind of guy. And I would say after the first 10 calls or so that I went to my partner and I said, it's really no different. Selling over a Zoom call, you still make a personal connection. You still figure out what their pain points are and see if you're a good match for what they need. And it's worked out really well so far.
Absolutely. Great quick rundown of obviously what you guys do. Now, just getting right into things, I mean, if you could share kind of where you were before and now after working with us in terms of, new clients or perhaps revenue growth that you've seen in just the 2 to 3 months that we've been partnered so far.
Yeah, I don't have the revenue numbers before and after in front of me, but I do know that I believe I've fielded 12. My first 12 leads, I was able to close 5 of them for a monthly recurring revenue of over $5,000 for us. In fact, with some setup initialization fees, I've definitely recouped anything I've spent on the lead so far. So any money I get from them from here out is profit for me.
Absolutely.
I was hoping, for me, I was thinking if I could close one out of every 5 leads in that 20 to 25% range, that I would, be financially profitable for me. And so far, I think we're at 41.66% with a couple out there that are still possible closes that might bump that up even more.
Absolutely. Just 41% was obviously an amazing testament to how good of a closer you're on your end. So, I mean, all props for you on that. Now, in terms of before, can you perhaps describe the time commitment that is required on your end from our collaboration besides, really taking the calls? Is there anything else that you really, are tasked with on your end?
Well, the nice thing about it for me, obviously, is I don't have the travel time. When somebody showing up on a Zoom call is obviously far more efficient because I can just sit and continue to work right up until they pop into the meeting. And then, if I'm mobile, obviously, I love going to a client's location, learning about their business and talking to them that way. But if I'm here, I have access. I can do searches. I can look up data. I can look at the code on their website, share screens with them while I'm talking to them. So we've gotten kind of into a nice rhythm with that.
Fantastic. And based on the results so far, obviously it sounds like, things are going extremely well just within that 2 to 3 month period. Is there any kind of 12 month projections that, you really want to see this go within that next 6 to 12 month range, like mentioned?
Well, I've moved the goalpost already. I was hoping to sell 1 new client a week through these. Now that I see the close rate and the amount of, let me back up to your previous question just a little bit, because that is important. I think I didn't answer it, but our previous sales model was somebody would call in, I'd make an appointment, I would drive out and talk to them, come back to the office. I'd probably have 3 hours in at that point. Then I would talk with my partner. We'd come up with a plan for them. I'd go back out and pitch again. So I'm probably looking at a good 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe 7 hours to even get to that pitch point. I would say with the Zoom calls that Luke's been setting up for me, I'm probably spending more time than I need to because I just like to talk, get to know people, but maybe 45 minutes on the initial call, follow up a schedule up call within, because he's helping with people that are in the same industry. I'll be talking to 20 plumbers this week. So put together a pitch for them once I've got their data and statistics is 10 or 15 minutes now instead of that hour or two that I was spending custom writing a quote before. And because it's straightforward, I know what I'm doing. I've already told him in the first call about what I want to do for him probably and what it's going to cost. So I pull offline 15, 20 minutes, do some research, put together a quote for him, get back on the phone. So probably the ones that I've closed, I'm more like 2 hours into it instead of 6 or 7 hours into it to get to that pitch point.
Yeah.
Again, since it's virtual, I'm kind of forced to follow up electronically. So there's not a lot of time involved in that anyway.
Yeah.
And we've been working really hard on getting good proposal software, getting it ready to spit out quickly, getting the CRM in place with the follow-up. So to me, honestly, these first 12 were just, let me say this. I said to my partner, I said, I'm going to spend some money on board with Luke, buy a block of leads, and find out if we can sell remotely. I would say 5 out of 7 closed already we can sell remotely. So now it's a matter of scale. And now so this is my projection. Before I was hoping to sell one a week, maybe take one call a day and sell one a week. Now that I see how the workflow is, I think I'd like to pitch 3 or 4 a day and sell 7 or 8 a week, which obviously helps me get to my goals a whole lot faster. I'd love to have 2,000 clients. That's kind of my end game, is to have 2,000 clients on retainer here. And obviously selling 4 or 5 a week to start would help me get there a lot faster than 1 week.
Absolutely. Big goals. I love it on your end, and we're definitely going to help you get there. Now, I mean, based on that, like you said, there was kind of, you said you're going to, hey, let's invest a little bit. Let's actually see if this works. So, I mean, what really surprised you about, I mean, the lead gen services that we're providing? And maybe if you had any, misconceptions before hopping on board, if you could explain those as well.
Well, I mean, I sell web design, but I probably get 20 solicitations a day via email for web design.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been looking at your website, blah, 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 blah. So I figured I would meet a lot more skepticism when I got on the calls. As it is, people are getting on, they're like, I get these kind of solicitations all the time. I don't know why I called you. I don't know why I agreed to meet with you, really. But after a few minutes of talking, we seem to find common ground. They figure out that maybe I know a bit about plumbing, a little bit about marketing, and show them some results of some of my other clients. And I think that surprised me with how quickly we were able to build trust via Zoom call as opposed to being in person.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, right now, I mean, I would still give a slight advantage to being in person, mainly because I think we're one of the few people in this market that have a physical in-house team. And to get introduced to the team, if you come into my office, you're being greeted by a couple of team members and stuff like that. So I thought it would take longer remotely to earn that trust and get to have that intimate conversation with people that's required to really help them, their numbers and statistics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's what surprised me, is how quickly we were able to make those connections.
Totally. That's awesome. And I think out of all the agencies we work with, I think we only have you and maybe one other actual agency that has a physical location. So, I mean, definitely a differentiator with you there. Now, really the kind of last question I would have for you. I mean, if someone is perhaps on the fence, maybe we've talked to them, maybe we haven't, maybe they're checking out a video like this. Is there anything that, you would tell them perhaps, where you were in the position maybe 2 to 3 months ago before joining us, where you maybe were on the fence there?
Well, I mean, I think the purpose for a lot of people with marketing is it's great to live off referrals, right? And obviously we try to do a lot of work in the community. You don't have a good reputation here, but when the phone doesn't ring and somebody doesn't call in to come meet with me, there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. And so I got to the point where I'm like, if I'm going to scale, because we felt like we had great products, we felt like we had a great track record. We've been doing this long enough that we know what works in certain industries, that we can move the needle for somebody. It was just how am I going to scale if I don't have more appointments to talk to people? I have sold things without putting out a proposal or giving somebody a price, but only like once or twice in 10 years. Typically, you have to meet with somebody and give out a proposal before you make a sale, generally speaking. And so I was like, I got to give out more proposals. I got to talk to more people and put out proposals. So honestly, it just felt right. My partner is skeptical as well, and I looked at some other options, but when I got on the phone with Luke, I felt good about it. He was straightforward about what he was good at and what he wasn't good at. And and why he was doing lead gen himself instead of servicing the clients. And I appreciated that. When I went in to talk to my partner about it to get his opinion, he immediately said, I feel good about it. We might as well try it. So I think 5 out of the first 12 was all the proof I needed that the leads are actionable.
Absolutely. Makes total sense. Now,
And like I said, I've got some people that will call me in April, call me in May, let me get my money right, stuff like that. So we'll see how those come in.
yeah, sales cycle is always interesting. You never know. Obviously, the buying window is so short. If you can, it's they just have to line up perfectly, and you never know.
I expected the buying window to be longer.
Yeah, yeah.
But some of these have closed within a week or two of that initial call. So I would say do it. Don't rush it. Work the process. However you normally work a sales call, work it that way. Go through your process. For me, I always try to do this, but I think it's especially important when you're soliciting somebody electronically. Is don't come into it knowing exactly what you're going to sell the person. Come into it and just listen. I mean, that's just good salesman, right? Hear what their needs are, talk to them. Even if you kind of know what the solution is, pull back, do your research, put in that extra time, prove yourself to the client. It's probably a little extra important because they don't have that reputation of being local. If somebody knows me, they know of me, they know me from the community or, from service projects or something like that, I could kind of move a little bit faster. But this way, I would just encourage somebody to take your time and just work the process.
Absolutely.
Give it 6 weeks and work some leads and see what happens.
Great advice.
I think I closed one last week that I first talked to on February the 23rd, maybe. No, it was before that, February 3rd. It was 2 months. I've closed some in as quick as a week and closed one that took about 2 months to work.
Yeah, it's just interesting how that stuff goes. Now, in terms of last real final thing to have for you, I mean, is there any final thoughts that you'd like to tell anyone watching? I mean, we've summed everything up here, but any last thoughts on your end?
It takes money to make money.
That's a good way to put it.
My old man started a business in the 80s. So quite a while back. And I've always heard him say, 2 people, you need an attorney. I'm sorry, 3. You need an attorney, an accountant, and a salesperson. We'll see about the others, but the salesperson, you just need help. You need leads you need to talk to, get good at selling.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I thank you again for taking the time on this interview and look forward to continue to killing it here in the future.
Keep sending me those leads.
Yes, sir.